Hey everybody, it's PartyElite, and it's finally time for us to dive into one of my and many of your most anticipated games for a long time now. Manor Lords is releasing in a couple of weeks, and I've got myself a key to show the game off a little early on the channel, so you bet we're going to be diving in. Real quick reminder that outside of the channel, I am affiliated with the publisher Hooded Horse, and you can learn more about that in the video I've linked in the description down below. That affiliation doesn't have an impact on what I cover on the channel, of course, but I like to mention it just for the sake of transparency. And let's be real here, of course I'm going to be covering Manor Lords regardless. I've been talking about this game for over 4 years now, where that first video was basically just a bunch of things I pulled from the developer's Twitter account and Instagram. I'm so excited, so with no more time to waste on an intro, let's dive on in to a new game. Now, I've actually got myself a custom coat of arms in place so that we can represent, and of the lot over here, I'm going to go ahead with this lovely face over here because I feel like it's as close to me as we can get of the options we have. I'm also going to go ahead with the name Hauptmann. I know it doesn't actually mean elite, but I was looking it up and this was kind of the closest I could get that was a name and kind of had a connection to being of a higher tier, like elite. So we're going to go with it. I'm sure there are probably better options out there that, fit the time and place that this game is set in. So feel free to suggest those, but it'll be too late because by the time I see your suggestions, I will have begun this playthrough. Love to hear them though. Anyway, we've got 3 options for our scenarios here as we dive into this early access build of the game. Rise to Prosperity is just about fulfilling the needs of our citizens and growing our town to a large town. And then we can continue to play in endless mode or, call it a day as a victory. Then we have Restoring the Peace. Here, 2 territories in the north are claimed by the illegitimate baron whose castle is located off the map. Bandit camps reside in the other unclaimed regions. We'd have to build and expand at our own pace, and when ready, we'd be able to challenge the baron for those northern territories, and victory comes from conquering every region. And finally, there's On the Edge. Here we have to grow the city and raise our army as quickly as possible because the lands are full of raiders and undefended settlements will quickly perish. Here, victory conditions involve surviving all the attacks and also reaching the large town settlement level. So we've got a couple of options, which means we'll be able to play for quite a bit of time, and I'm very excited for that. But for our first run, let's go ahead and play Restoring the Peace. That's the selection by default, and even the template difficulty, we're going to go with the default option over here, but otherwise you are able to change a bunch of things to sort of customize your experience, make it harder, make it a little bit easier if you prefer, but let's go ahead and showcase the default difficulty in the default scenario for starters. Let's begin. Alright, so the first order of business in order to ensure success is to actually pause the game and take a look at this message, delivering to us our victory condition, Dominance. Build up your town, your manor, and when ready, press claims towards regions owned by your opponents. Once a claim has been pressed, be ready for battle. I shall unite these lands under my rule. But first, let's take a look at these lands and see exactly what we're working with and what we're working for. So this is interesting. We have quite a bit of room to expand into all around us. This is our starting region, and over time, as we gather influence, we'll be able to claim additional regions and establish additional settlements in them and use the resources available in said regions. So for example, there's a rich iron deposit over here, which I very much covet. So we might push in this direction nice and early and secure that for a wonderful economic boost and for all the military equipment we'll need to deal with these regions up over here, which are highlighted in yellow because they belong to Baron Hildebolt, the enemy. Now, fortunately, he is not the aggressor. We're the ones who get to choose when the fighting starts, as the game has told us with this scenario. The ball is in our court, which gives us some time to expand and push. However, there are bandits all around this map. You can see this bandit camp over here, for example. So they're going to cause us trouble over time. They'll be stealing from us, they'll be just harassing us, and we have to make sure to eliminate some of these bandit camps, especially as we expand. So he's not the only problem over here. There are these outlaws as well, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. First, let's go ahead and zoom into our own space and get a better understanding of the space around us. If we take a look at fertility really quickly, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? No way. Oh my god. This is like the most fertile land in the entire map, probably. This is fantastic for farming, which comes eventually. We don't start with farming, though. We start with a lot more rudimentary stuff. We start with hunting, and we start with berry gathering. Fortunately, we have a rich animal deposit, herd, I guess would be the word, when not talking in game mechanics terms. So we've got a nice big herd over here to hunt. We have a decent berry deposit that is currently growing. We also have an iron deposit over here. Now that's interesting. Building a mine over there, eventually when we do it, is probably going to force these animals to migrate a little bit. So hopefully we can keep that in check. We also want to make sure not to depopulate them completely, but this is an interesting layout over here. Up over here we have some stone, and we have some clay as well. So a lot of the resources are very close together, which is a convenient thing. And then eventually, like I said, we'll want to expand in this direction, which is decently far away. But the iron is extremely valuable, so we'll want to push in that direction eventually when we get the resources we need to do that. All right, so this is good. This is good. Looking at our fertility, everything is fertile, which means we can put our houses and buildings down anywhere, and it'll be all the same because we still have fertile land around us. That's excellent. But let's take a look at underground water, because that will determine where we can place our wells. Because of the settings we have, our well placement is limited based on these groundwater reserves, as it were. We got some decent options as well. I mean, this spot is begging for a well, isn't it? Just with the roads the way they are. So maybe we do that. Don't know if that's enough room in there, but we'll see. And then in terms of where we'll want to place our manor eventually, I mean, what's the high ground here, right? Like, okay, so the land dips down over here, goes higher and higher over there. If I take a look at road construction, you can kind of see the contours and the transition. Yeah, so somewhere over here is probably where our manor is going to end up, right next to the hunting grounds. So that's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, you know what? That's actually really cool. So the manor is going to end up over there. I think our housing and stuff can probably end up like in this general area down here. This will be our industrial area with a pocket up there and some good food gathering. Yeah, this is good stuff. Okay, so let's get this party started with some planning. First things first, we're going to want to go ahead and put down a logging camp. The logging camp is how you acquire timber, and timber is absolutely essential for just everything. For all the construction, you need timber, especially like some of the basic stuff. We want to try and establish it close to where we're going to be actually doing the wood cutting. I could do a bit of clearing over here. Again, I don't want to get too close to the animals and bother them. Let's actually just stick to... I mean, we're in such a sweet spot. This is like the best start I've rolled. This is amazing. Let's go ahead and put this camp down over here, and we'll simply, clear this area out, because this will all be industrial, I guess. So sure, let's pop you down over here. So that's that. Good stuff. We'll go ahead and establish some road connections. I mean, we're so close, the road's going to make a marginal difference to hauling goods from here to build this thing. But sure, let's go ahead and make the connection anyway. Done. Now, logging camp done. Next up, let's establish the hunting camp and the forager hut. So again, we want to be close to the herd, because we don't want to have to travel too far to actually begin the hunt and haul the bodies back that far, etc., etc. But we don't want to be so close that, again, we force them to migrate. So I think we can put the hunting camp probably down over here. Here's what we'll do. Hunting camp over here, and let's get the forager hut over here. So we'll keep these guys together, and the foragers will have to travel a bit of a distance, but that's okay. I think that's fine. It's not too far. They're going through the woods, get the berries, and then we'll put like stockpiles, in this general area to facilitate easy kind of passing on of the resources to a central point, which then gets distributed to a market. Can I fit the well where I originally spotted? Let's see. The well will not fit here, unfortunately. Just too tight. Looks like it. Just too tight. But that's okay. We'll pop it down like over here or something. This looks like a nice spot, though, for the well. The market, it's just so nicely laid out. So we might do that, in which case I'll want to have storage in the area as well, but we'll construct that afterwards. First things first, let's prioritize the logging camp as a high priority construction, because you might be thinking, oh, well, isn't food more important? No, food is not more important. Timber is more important, because timber is needed to build literally everything else, like I said, and food is already available to us in this pile over here. We got 20 massive pieces of bread that we'll chow down on when the time comes. But timber, we've only got so much. So we'll establish that. We've got these things going. Let's figure this out. where do I want to put the market? I could put it down... Where do I want to have my church as well? I guess I could put the church somewhere over here on the path to the manor. That's kind of a cool, you know, story, or it tells a story, I guess, if you will. So that's neat. And you want the market like near the church, I suppose. So here, why don't we go ahead and expand this road out a little bit this way. Pop this down like this as well. I'm trying to embrace the whole organic city building vibe that Manor Lords is kind of really all about, and what it you know, implores you to do. So I'm going to try and, you know, follow the contours of the land where possible. I'm going to try and, like, you know, avoid the grid as much as possible, reject the grid, embrace tradition, as it were. So we'll see how I can kind of get myself to commit to that, because it does often get tempting to, you know, use order and patterns. But I want to try and avoid that. Let's go ahead and build, or plan to build, I guess, the market like somewhere over here. I guess it would. That's a massive market. We don't need the market to be that big. We don't need the market to be that big at all. We can go like down to here, sure. And the market is where goods get sold to the people. So you want to make sure you have a marketplace so that your goods aren't just sitting in storage. So we'll pop you down over here. Sure. Yeah, that works for me. Again, it can be removed, it can be like replaced, all that kind of good stuff. But I'm just trying to like plan some of this stuff out that doesn't need resources. And we'll pop a road down over here as well. Might expand the market a bit further later on, and we should be able to put a well down anywhere over here. Yeah, so, you know, this kind of... Alright, here's what we'll do. Let's pop the well down over here. Eventually. Again, I want to be very careful about where timber gets used. But let's go ahead and do this. There we go. Make this place look like it's been well traveled and well used. I think I can probably just make this road, or make this entire area look like it's been, you know, trampled down with desire lines, as it were. So, can we like add a bit of a curve there? There you go. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Beauty. And I might even do like the same on the other side or something like that. But there you go. So yeah, we got our market over here. We'll have the well over there, and it'll look like, you know, maybe I'll like create a whole shape over here that's just like decorative space or something, or maybe it like leads into the church. We adjust things a little bit, put the church there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. One thing I'm going to try and do, by the way, is not this is going to be challenging. Not remove any roads. Once I put them down, they're going to stay, and I'm going to try and build like desire lines and things like that, and then use those to influence how things are actually built out. I think that'll encourage me to go for that organic feel, that organic vibe, as it were, and I think it'll be interesting. It's an interesting restriction. I think so, at least. I mean, you guys let me know as well in the comments if you think it's an interesting one, or if I should abandon it, but I think it'll force me to kind of approach things very differently. Now, what's this? I've heard of your renown. I only seek to defend my rights and my honor against those who would wrong me. I hope you will not judge me by the rumors and slanders that some may spread about me. Signed and sealed by my own seal, Hildebolt von Berenoit. Yeah, buddy, I don't believe you. This man is a known traitor. I will not write back. I will simply end the conversation, because I do not speak with their kind. But yes, like I was saying, curious about what you guys think about that kind of limitation. Anyway, we got the market over here. We'll put the church over here next to the market. That sounds good. Let's go ahead and establish, actually, the storage for food and goods, because if we don't establish that and it starts to rain, these resources will absolutely spoil out in the open. So first things first, our granary. We've got enough timber. We've got enough stone. So let's pop you down. Again, I think like over here sounds good. It's close to the market and all that good stuff. Close to the church as well. That feels relevant. So sure, let's go ahead and pop you down over here. And let's go ahead and pop our storehouse down. Yeah, over here. Now the thing is, I want these to be somewhat centralized, because I want the goods to be brought to these storehouses and to these granaries and stuff like that to then be redistributed. You don't want it to necessarily be right next to the actual resource itself, because every resource acquisition building has its own stockpile. So I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to pop this down over here. Sure. And then if we take a look at, let's say, the forager hut, you'll see that it has room for storage, but you don't want to necessarily bring the berries all the way from here to the market. Instead, you want to stockpile them in the granary, and then it's a much shorter distance to actually get that get that product out to the people who are living in the area by the market. Anyway, back to this forager hut actually, and it's time to explain the concept of families. So the way population works in Manor Lords is very different. I don't think I've seen this in any other city builder or colony management game. I could be mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way it works here is that this number, this 5, doesn't represent 5 individuals, it represents 5 families. And so when I assign somebody to the forager hut, I'm not just assigning that individual person, I'm assigning that entire family. So this is a family of 2, and these 2 might both go and collect berries, but eventually when they have berries, they might take on different responsibilities. One might continue to gather berries, while the other one, mans the market stall and sells those berries. Or another still might, transport the berries instead. So it's very different from the norm, I think. If I go ahead and go to the hunting camp and assign a family here as well, you'll see that here, again, it's a family of 2. Once they get houses, I'm sure they'll increase in size. And they're going to be, one of them is going to be hunting, Ditz is going to be hunting, and Margaret is going to be waiting for her husband to come back from the hunt with goods that she can then take to the market and sell, probably. Or maybe she'll be hauling instead. Either way, every family member does something different. And when you're assigning people to the various tasks, to the various workplaces, you're assigning entire families. And I think that's extremely interesting because it completely changes the dynamic of how population and stuff works, and it all means something completely different. Anyway, with a logging camp, let's go ahead and establish a work area. Yeah, sure, let's start over here. We'll take these trees out first. I'll eventually want to also get myself a woodcutter's lodge, because this is the guy that collects firewood, and firewood is essential for the colder months. You need it all around, just all the time, but in the colder months especially, you're going to want firewood to make sure nobody freezes to death. We have a bit of time, it's only March, but I don't want to rest on my laurels or anything and forget about it. We'll eventually also want a forester's hut to keep these forests, alive, so we can keep cutting them down over and over again. But where were we? So I got some families assigned, I've got hunting happening. All right, with a hunting camp, got a hunting limit. This means that when the population of this herd gets down to 10, we're going to stop hunting so that they can take the time to repopulate. You want to make sure that you don't completely wipe out the animals in your in your region, because then you're going to run out of that resource, obviously. So that should be enough for them to repopulate easily enough. And otherwise, I'm going to wait to collect some more timber before I start building some houses. But we'll get the housing down over here, and that should be good. And you know what? Well, let's go ahead and put some roads down. I'm thinking... Sure, let's put these down like so. And again, try and use that to influence the way I expand and grow and the way I lay things out. Now, we're right at the edge of our territory, actually. So we won't have much room to continue expanding down this way. We will expand up this way, though. So housing over here. We got the market, housing here. And we can expand down this way too. Again, it's the most fertile territory ever. So yeah, we can absolutely grow down this way. Oh yeah, we got plenty of room actually before we need to spend some influence to expand, which by the way, we have to collect over time. We don't have the resources we need to expand right away or anything. And this isn't even the direction I want to expand in. This is the direction I want to expand in. So sure, we'll keep pushing down this way, expanding this way. Yeah, sounds good to me. Not that we can just, not that we're just going to flow over or anything. All right, looking good. Speed time up a little bit. To get that timber count up. We have 2 unassigned families right now. Unassigned families are necessary for construction. So if they don't have a job, their job is construction, basically. And you can see how they're slowly chipping away at these 2 buildings we've asked them to build. And it's really nice as well just to see like the level of detail here as the ox is taken from point A to point B. You'll come up to here where our starting supplies were. We're going to get that hitched up. And we're going to go ahead and move this all the way over to one of the 2 construction sites. And then the people actually working the construction site are going to build it up. And again, even though the number here says 2, that means there's 2 families working on the construction. So one of them is, like one individual is bringing the timber over. The others are maybe bringing the stone over. The others are building. It's just good stuff. It's very interesting. What's left over here? We need 1 more stone. Oh, food stall has been built up. Who runs this food stall? Ooh, the foragers. Okay, so if we take a look at the forager hut, you'll see that these guys now own a market stall. That means of the two, one will be... I'm gonna get demonetized with these names. One of them is going to be manning the stall, and the other one's going to be gathering berries once they have berries to actually sell, and once they have people to sell them to. That's going to be once the houses are established. But that's good, and eventually I'm sure we'll get many more stalls, and we might even expand this, like I said. Add another market to the side there, or maybe add one over here, and see how this evolves. So excited to see how things shift and move over time. You know what, this logging camp, let's actually change where you're working. Now, let's clear this area out, then we'll move the logging camp down over here, and then start clearing this area out. Something like that. As the houses expand, sure. Something like that. We got 5 timber. That's enough for a couple houses. I want to have enough for all the houses I want to put down at once, and then find like kind of fun, interesting shapes. I have an idea of what I want to do, I think. Yeah, I have a decent idea of what I want to do. In fact, you know what? All right, in order to do what I want to do, let's get these guys just clearing this area out first. It'll be a little bit slower because the ox's hitching post is up over here. But you know what? Since those initial supplies are gone, I can move this hitching post. It isn't going to make much of a difference. It's going to have to go back and forth to this area anyway. Alright, let's keep it as is. Up over here, how are we looking? Look at that. You want to talk about level of detail. A guy goes, hunts, brings the carcass back, then actually, you know, skins it, gathers the hide, gathers the meat, and all that good stuff. Like, I just absolutely love the level of detail. It's insane. You can watch people go and gather berries. You can watch people sell goods at the market. You can watch, you know, all these little details. It's wild. Now, we've got our granary and storehouse built. Let's go ahead and assign a family to the granary so that we can go ahead and get this bread somewhere safe so that it doesn't get rained on and start rotting. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and get a family at the storehouse. Maybe that same family gets swapped over because I don't want this unassigned count to hit 0 because there's still construction to be done, obviously. The thing about assigning families to these storehouses and granaries is that people only move the goods that they need for their workplace, typically. So, for example, you know, eventually I might make a dye workshop, and the dyer, I guess, needs berries. So he's going to go and grab berries from wherever he can get berries, wherever is closest. So he might go all the way to the forager's hut to pick up berries and bring it all the way back over here to process into dye. Sure. Or he might go to the granary if there's berries at the granary to, you know, have a shorter distance, bring those berries back, process into dye. Good stuff. But he's never going to move that dye into the storehouse where it can be stockpiled, because every place has room to stockpile resources. There is storage room for all of these buildings, so they'll happily store it themselves. But when you assign a worker to the granary or to the storehouse, it's that family's job to go out and gather those resources and centralize them. So here, for example, you know, we've got this food stall currently being manned by the people from the forager hut. That is a long distance to go and to haul the berries. I think I mentioned this earlier as I was explaining some of these distances in the market stall. But that's a long way to go. So instead, we want the granary to pick those berries up, you know, bring them back over here so that it's easier to provide for the people. Now, actually, if I take a look at... these guys are down over here, so they're just picking up the bread right now. I think they're prioritizing that, which is fair, because it's completely out in the open, so that's all well and good. They'll eventually start shipping the berries over as well, though. And there's the rain. Hopefully we're moving quickly enough. We've got a bit of a cart, so that should move more goods at a time. Excellent. So you can see, like, the wife here is transporting bread by hand. The husband has his little cart. So they're moving goods together, and there's, you know, there's a value difference of the resources being moved between them and stuff like that. It's good stuff. All right. Soon enough, we'll get some people in the storehouse so we can move some of these supplies as well, because this stuff will, you know, some of this stuff will get damaged out in the rain as well. All right, logging camp. Done clearing this space? Yeah. Okay, good. Why don't we go ahead and continue expanding this general area? Why not? That didn't take too long. Take too long at all. Alright, the bread's been taken care of, but the remaining exposed stock is getting soaked. So, Let's get you unassigned. Let's get you assigned there. The berries can wait. I think she was just headed over to gather some berries, actually, and I interrupted her. But that's fine. There's more important stuff on hand. Alright, now she's carrying the... oh, they're both carrying their carts. I guess the storehouse might have more carts available. They're going to come through. Yeah, you can see just, like, picking up individual piles. I just find a level of detail to be mind-blowing. Look at that. Walking along. Stuff. Here, let's go ahead and do... not that, but this. I feel like that is a realistic kind of desire line that would form. And again, I'm trying to... you know, scar the land with these roads and stuff to influence how I'm going to expand down the line. Alright, we got 8 timber. Let's go ahead and build some houses. So the way housing works is also different in Manor Lords. It uses the concept of burgage plots. So let's go ahead and pause so I can kind of go over this and make sure I'm creating a nice living area. So the way things work is not through ploppable buildings where you put down individual houses. It's not through kind of zoning in the modern sense either, but instead you're creating areas within which you want people to establish their homes. But the areas you're drawing out will be further subdivided into these burgage plots. The way burgage plots work is you've got your actual home, and then if you have enough room, you have this massive backyard where you partake in various activities. So, for example, you might have a vegetable garden, you might have a chicken coop, you might have an orchard, whatever it might be that you're good at, you might do in your backyard, and then the goods from that activity get sold at the market. So, for example, if you have a vegetable garden, you're going to provide vegetables to the community, and all of a sudden, we not only have the berries and the meat, but we also have the vegetables from that vegetable garden. Or if you have a chicken coop, you're going to provide eggs. So it's really interesting because it's kind of like mixed zoning, where they're not just houses. They can be. If you make this space small enough, they are going to be just houses, and that's what that icon means. If you shape it funky enough, you'll even get those little tiny expansions like you're seeing on the far right of this area, like over here, right? You get the funny shape, and yeah, you can fit another house in there, kind of, and all of a sudden that one plot has room for 2 families as opposed to 1. If I go far enough, yeah, you can see you get some really interesting shapes as it tries to figure out how to break the shape you're making into these plots. But yes, if you get deep enough, you get these backyard extensions where you can establish all kinds of industry. And as these buildings level up, they'll have access to more advanced things. They can become bakers, they can become tailors, they can become smiths, all kinds of stuff. It's a really cool system, and it really changes how you look at housing in the city builder, which is kind of a vital part of a city builder. And I find it to be a really cool system, and it is inspired by kind of historical the behaviors or methodologies, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Why don't we go ahead and pop these guys over here? We'll want a gap between the homes and the market. That's the question. That's the question. And maybe while I think about that, we'll put these houses down over here instead. So, put these points down here, so that's our front facing. And then all the way down to here. What I want to try and do is give these guys extremely, extremely big backyards. And I'll explain why when the time comes. That's a little tight for that guy, eh? Alright, what if I just go over to here? How does this look? Oh, look at that. See what I mean? Like, look at how it like conforms to the shape. That's so wild. It's so interesting. This is neat. I don't mind this. Sure. I don't have enough timber to have another plot placed down at the same time. We can add one later. But this is cool. Let's go ahead and put these guys down. Yes, let's do it. Now, again, I can change how many subdivisions I have as well, of course. So, just love the versatility. And obviously, there's a max cap based on the total area I've laid out. All right, let's pop you down. Sorry. Like, this stuff is so compelling to me. And I apologize that it took me so long just to put down 4 houses. I do. But that's like the fun of it, I think. That's where this stuff gets really intriguing. And you'll see how interesting houses are as they get built. Let's go ahead and speed time up a little bit. What do we have here? We've got a firewood stall. Who's running that stall? Is that coming from the storehouse? Yes, it is. So firewood is stored at the storehouse. And again, you know, we could have built, in fact, we're about to build, before I forget again, the woodcutter's lodge. And this will make it a bit more efficient for us to cut down trees in multiple areas. So here, let's put this guy down. over here temporarily. I should be able to move this building relatively easily. So let's get you down over there. We'll have the Woodcutter's Lodge, you know, taking care of the trees over here. And we'll have the logging camp taking care of the trees up over here. Just clearing this general area out. Room for expansion. And then the woodcutter is going to gather firewood. But what I was getting at is the woodcutter could establish the market. Or the storehouse can. And depending on how things are positioned, depending on where these buildings are, you might want things to be one way or another, as I was exemplifying with the berries, right? Now, have all these things been moved? No, we've got the last shipment coming through. Yeah, transporting tools. So once that comes through, we'll flip back to the granary, and hopefully I can show you how the berry swap actually looks. All right. Stop that. Start that. Again, we've now removed the... we've abandoned, I should say, the firewood stall. But as soon as somebody else is there to take over, they'll take over. So that's all well and good. Here we go. All right. It's being built right now. Looks like that timber was delivered directly to the construction site, which is nice. Get this one done real quick. There we go, some more timber. Beautiful, almost done. And you're going to see, just I absolutely love as well the variation from plot to plot is great. Not just when you get the funky shapes, but also when you get identical shapes. The stuff happening inside can be so different. But hang on a second. Getting distracted by the beauty here. What I want to do is establish a vegetable garden. So this is a very large backyard extension, which should allow them to grow quite a few vegetables in a full season. It'll take some time to actually get that much out of it, but that's why I wanted them to have particularly deep backyards, so that there's more room for these families to get more vegetables. So let's get that vegetable garden established over there. It occurs to me that maybe I would have wanted these to actually have room for an expansion slot, so another family can live on there. So then I'd basically have two families tending to one vegetable garden, as well as whatever jobs they have, during the day, so to speak. But too late for that. I have zero regrets because, again, I'm embracing each of these decisions. I'm as they play out, I'm gonna adapt to them. I'm trying to be a bit more haphazard intentionally. I'm trying to be a bit more, again, chaotic with these roads and stuff, and using them to influence me. How are we looking over here? Are we starting to ship goods down? Granary? Yes, we are. So we got the berries. Take a look. Yeah. You can see them transporting various goods, transporting berries, transporting meat. Bringing them down to the granary, and then hopefully they're going to pick up the food stall. They might not. They might stick to the forager unless I force the change, which is easy enough to do. Guess I gotta wait a little bit longer. Until it gets swapped over, I think they're going to keep manning it, and that's fine. That's fine. It's not like even a second without someone at the shops is going to kill everybody. We'll give it a minute, because I would like the convenience of it being right there. Alright, construction continues. How much supplies do we have? We have food for 12 months and fuel for 7. That doesn't account for winter, I don't think. We're fine for the time being, but I don't want to dally too much. Ah, the hunter has taken over the food stall. Yep. Why gotta be like this today? Alright. Ban in the workplace. I want to try and force this change. Well, you know what? Yeah, fine. That's fine. We got plenty of food. We got plenty of food. We got 12 months of food. Some time spent not hunting or berry gathering isn't going to kill us. Up a little bit. All looking good. Last burgage plot. Let's go ahead and establish more vegetable gardens. Now, they do cost regional wealth. I can't just build as many of these as I like. I have to be careful about that. Now, the chicken coop and the goat shed are significantly more expensive, so you are taking the cheaper option, but we don't have that much money. We're not going to get more money until we either establish trade or we upgrade these houses to level 2, because they generate some regional wealth per family per month. And so there's another reason to have multiple families on one plot, because it's per family on the plot, you generate some wealth. But that's going to be some time. We're not going to be able to upgrade until we provide for a variety of needs. So it'll be some time before we're making money through that. So it'll be trade, We have decent resources to trade, so that's all well and good. I'll establish another vegetable garden here, I think. I think it's a very interesting plot shape, and we might get more out of it, so I'll wait for that. Food stall. Finally, these guys. Yeah, alright, cool. Get you reassigned. Being a little particular there, I know, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm liking this. I think that's kind of fun. That's a fun shape. I'll get built shortly. Plenty of timber still. Really, we still have that much timber? Alright, we're doing a good job. We could just abandon the logging camp temporarily if we want to. Family member joined one of the settlers. So that is a family has grown, as promised, from 2 to 3. And this third person, I think this is the new person, is currently sowing. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's great. That's great. These guys are still a family of... Oh no, these guys are a family of 3 as well. These guys are a family of 3. Good stuff. Either I missed notifications or they were all... Nah, I missed some notifications. Beauty. Like I said, as soon as we get them homes, they'll start multiplying. You're up next. Get that built. Once that's done, we'll start taking a look at some of these needs we want to fulfill. I mean, there is one more house that we need to build, obviously. We still have one homeless... one homeless individual. But the poor guy is... Every other family has a home. They don't. They don't get a home. How do I want to do this? You want to do something like that? Have that extra plot there? Yeah, sure. I'm trying to have some fun with some of these shapes and stuff. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Gotta hesitate less. Folks, just want to say really quickly, as always, I appreciate your viewership. If you've been enjoying what you've been watching so far, if you would like to see it continue, please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. I intend to play Manor Lords on the channel for a very, very, very long time. I've been looking forward to it for so very long, and I just want to play so much of it. I'm really excited to cover it on the channel, but I'd love to know if it is something you're interested in watching on the channel, because as always, you know, I do this for my own enjoyment, of course, but also for yours. So if you're having a good time, if you'd like to see more Manor Lords on the channel, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. I'm hoping to actually also do sort of a beginner's guide series. I'm hoping to do quite a bit, actually. And like I pointed out, there are multiple scenarios. And if that sounds like something you'd like to see, like I said, say the word. And yeah, after we get this last house built so that everyone has homes, I want to figure out what we do next. Probably build additional homes so we can expand. I think we're actually getting food at a decent rate that we can safely expand, so that's all well and good. And we'll start taking a look at some of their needs that we want to fulfill. Like, we'll get a church down soon, perhaps, but in order to do that, we need to get planks. And in order to do that, we need to get ourselves a saw pit. So, you know, natural progression, I suppose. Let's get the saw pit up over here, right next to the logging camp, so the logs don't have to go as far. The timber, I guess, doesn't have to go as far. Pop you down over here. Yep, sounds good to me. Ship over to there, and then ship over to wherever it's needed. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't... Huh. Interesting. Just like digging into the ground like that, I wasn't expecting. Because I imagine that's going to get hidden. So the fact that detail is there is interesting. This is built. This is built. Let's go ahead and get our vegetable garden. I'd like to get some apple orchards, but before we can do that, we have to actually, well, make a lot more money and unlock a development branch. So let's stick to the vegetable garden for the time being. Oh yeah, look at that. That's going to be a lot of veggies. All right, good stuff. And these guys in the middle, I don't know, maybe we'll get them some goats, and every once in a while the goats can hop over and have some snacks. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Here as well, like, do I do another vegetable garden? We have 3 vegetable gardens? Or do we save it for something else down the line? We'll see. Cross that bridge when we get there. Let's go ahead and put some more plots down, though. I'm worried about over-investing in the vegetable industry. Here, let's do this instead. Maybe we could use some, you know, chicken coops and something, and they don't need as much space. They don't benefit from additional space. So, sure, let's do that, and then maybe we'll get some more houses over here facing up this way or something. Bit of variety, you know, spice of life and all that. Let's prioritize the Woodcutter's Lodge, though. And let's take a look at this message. Oh, new development point. Wait. There it is. Armament delivery. A strong militia is paramount to the survival of any settlement. Luckily, a shipment of weapons has just arrived, and you will now be able to create your first militia banners to serve you and protect your people. However, We will need more weapons to equip all the people as the settlement grows, either by making them or importing them from other lands. Let's form the militia. Do I need to rush to form the militia? I believe I have a little bit of time before the aggression starts, even from the bandits and all that. So I'm going to hold off for the time being, focus on the establishment of the housing and our just core economy, get some trade up and running first, and then we'll turn our attention to military matters. I think that's probably the right call. I think. Alright, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Everyone's got a home now. We're making room for additional people. Approval is on the way down, though. Hopefully that'll turn around over the next few months, and then people will actually come to live here in the empty spots that we're making for them. We'll see how that plays out. Go ahead and get you chopping trees up over here. Establish a stone mine soon, I suppose. There's the woodcutter's lodge done. Go ahead and get you working away over here. And again, I want to leave at least one family unassigned for all the construction. That's exactly why I'm hoping we'll get more people showing up soon. Though we are low on fuel. We only have 2 months worth left. Alright. Time to make some adjustments. We got not a lot of timber, actually. We've used it all up for making houses. Trying to figure out where I can unassign workers from. Where can I unassign workers from? Or do I just cross my fingers and hope for the best and hope that some people show up and we can maintain our numbers as they are? What's life without risks, right? Let's keep it going for the time being. And eventually we'll move the woodcutter's lodge because this is where we wanted the church, right? This is just a temporary solution. The burgage plot done. Fingers crossed that people start to show up. Oh, bandits have started. They stole tools, of all things. That's a pretty... not an easy resource to reacquire. Okay, so we are going to have to build that militia up sooner rather than later. Now, the thing about the militia is that it actually takes people from your settlement. They're not just randoms. They're not just pulled out of thin air. So when I form the militia, if I send the militia out to eliminate this bandit camp, I'm actually taking people from, you know, the vegetable gardens, from the hunting camps and all that stuff, sending them out to fight, abandoning the economy momentarily, and then, if any of them die in battle, I have to wait for replacements to come through so that I can keep the economy going. That's why I'm a little hesitant to rush. I also can't hire mercenaries right now because mercenaries are reliant on treasury, and my treasury is completely empty because you can only grow your treasury through taxation and things like that, but to tax your people, you have to build a manor. So there's a progression that we're gonna get to, but we're not there yet. So maybe for the next little while, I'm gonna have to let these bandits steal some of my stuff, and then we'll get them to pay eventually. Soon enough. If I build a church, I believe that should help with approval. Now, if I want to build a church, what do I need? I need planks and I need timber. Okay. Saw pit is still under construction. We got plenty of food. So I wonder. 17 months of food. You know what? Alright, let's abandon the forager hut. Let's abandon the hunting camp. Let's let these guys... We've only hunted so many of them. I mean, they've obviously been repopulating as we've been hunting them. But that's great. It's a great resource to have. Especially as a rich one. Alright, plenty of food. Let's just keep in mind that we have to assign people soon. You know what? I regret putting the woodcutter's lodge there. But let's get you to work. We'll move you later. Let's get these trees cleared out nearby. Saw pit's gonna get built up. We'll start getting some of those planks, and that'll allow us to build a church. That sounds good to me. But yeah, we're gonna need fuel. We're gonna need fuel ASAP. The extra houses are gonna live on their own for a little while. That's okay. And you can see over here, by the way, the food stall being stockpiled from the granary. Just back and forth. Nice and easy. Don't have to haul all the way from there. Alright, the saw pit. Yeah, like I said, see that area got covered up pretty well. And yet, there's a hole in the ground. I like it. Let's keep some timber reserved for construction at all times. We want to make sure that not all of our timber gets turned into planks. And the next thing you know, I need to emergency build a couple of buildings, and I don't have any timber to do it with. Alright. We're gonna get some planks that way. We're gonna get the church established. Good stuff. Trying to collect firewood, yeah. And the woodcutter's lodge is actually manning the firewood stall, which is fine for the time being because it's right there. But eventually we'll want to change that up. Eventually. All right, 3 months worth of fuel now. Keep it up for the time being. Now these people's needs are starting to be met. We need to get a clothing stall established. Water access. Oh, I never put the well down. I knew it. I knew it. That is, of course. That's fine, though. That's fine, because we got a good spot over here where we can pop the well down. And it'll be right in front of the church, which works out quite nicely as well. Sure. The well, we'll get the church here. You know, I actually like that. I like the idea of the water and the food being right next to the church. There's something nice about that. Cool. Glad I checked. All right, so we'll get their water access. We'll get their church. And we just got to get linen, leather, or yarn. Now, we're getting hides, obviously. So we should be able to, as soon as our population grows a bit more, we should be able to establish the tannery. That'll turn the hides into leather. Then we can take a look at getting a trading post so we can perhaps export whatever ends up as a surplus. You know, we can also get the dyer's workshop going, turn those berries into dyes, maybe export some of those, start getting, you know, a bit of a trade economy going so that we can make a bit of money.
Why do I have to carry this?
Sounds like a good idea to me. Yeah. Approval is on its way up. Good stuff. Good stuff, good stuff. So hopefully soon enough people will start showing up. We've crossed the 50% threshold. The higher this is, the more families migrate on a kind of monthly basis. So got to keep creeping upwards. There's our well. I'm sure that's going to make people happy to not be thirsty all the time. There's the water access. Yeah, good stuff. You guys are still chopping away. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Only 3 months worth of fuel. Keep it going for the time being. Take a look at the church. Obviously, we don't still have enough planks. 10 planks. 10 stone. So it's going to consume all of our stone, actually, which means we won't be able to establish the manor for some time because that also requires stone. We do, of course, have a stone deposit in the area. Just a matter of having the people to actually, you know, work the stone deposit. So let's get ourselves there a little bit faster here. Market food variety is helping quite significantly. That's good. Yeah, we got options. Nothing else, we got options. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how this is looking and feeling so far. You guys still working? Oh, they're also managing this vegetable garden. Fair enough. I can shift that around. I can change who actually works at this woodcutter's lodge. Like I can say, look, you live right here. Oh, you're empty. You guys live right here. This is the unassigned family. Maybe they're better off working at the woodcutter's lodge. So, reassign, get them to the woodcutter's lodge. And then get this family. I guess what I could do is... nice. Another family moved in. Beautiful. Reassign you to, let's say, the storehouse, and then just remove it. Well, actually, now we have the new family as well, so I could have just kept them there. Manor storehouse. Why do I want the storehouse? I want the storehouse so that the firewood ends up over there eventually. Got somebody here. We got somebody here. We're not gathering food right now. We still have, what, 13 months worth of food. So we're actually okay for the winter. That's kind of funny to think about. It's only August. We'll make it through. That's all well and good. I mean, do I get the stone mine established right now? Stone cutter camp, sorry. Need a bit more timber. Here, let's get someone assigned to the logging camp. Just so that we're collecting a little bit faster. And yeah, once we start getting some money, we can take a look at some of these other options. Good stuff, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm thinking church before manor, as I've been saying for the last little bit. Planks and timber. Right. Where are you guys working? And do you not have... Yep. I could just cancel their limited work area and let them operate freely. And I wouldn't have to constantly keep an eye out for the work area is empty notification that I am consistently missing. Do this out this way. Just to mark that area. Stole 11 hides. Man, that's expensive. That's a lot taken from me. Oh my goodness. We gotta take care of them fast, but I gotta get my militia, but before I do that, I gotta get, and before I do that, I gotta get, and before that, I gotta get. It's just like, there's so much. They're all the way over here too. It's a long march. We got this, we got this. We'll be fine. A couple of resources lost here and there every once in a while isn't the end of the world. But I should probably take a look at some of my other options as far as development is concerned. I unlocked this a while ago, and I just didn't take the time to investigate what I'd want to chase. Trapping enables hunters to skillfully lay traps in the forest, which gives a passive income of meat. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but we have plenty of food right now. Same thing with orchardry, like it gives us more food, it produces apples, but apple orchards are in people's backyards, so it's a little different. And orchardry is what unlocks rye cultivation and irrigation. And irrigation is important to help fight droughts. So, gotta think about that. Over here, meanwhile, heavy plow is needed to use oxen at the farmhouse. Decisions. I mean, I'm gonna have plenty of like points down the line. Beekeeping. Let's go for the orchards. Sure. And then when I can afford them, I'll get some. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let's make these into orchards. That'll be nice. So you got vegetable gardens on either side. You got apples down the middle. Yeah, I like that. Sure. Pleased with my decision there. All according to plan. I'll only establish some additional houses, actually. I think I can safely do so. Burgage plot. With these guys facing this way. I don't have enough timber. One more. As soon as we get that, we'll establish some more houses down here. And we should still be able to hit them with the goods from the market. Like, I don't think that's too far away. They'll still be reached, I'm sure. Take a bit longer, but I think they'll be fine. The market's reach is actually quite good. As long as you have a surplus of goods, people will get them. People will receive them. We're still limited, right? No, actually. I need to set this up to 4, so that I have a bit more so I can actually do something with the timber that's left over. I might get another hitching post established and just get ourselves another ox, though I don't know if I have enough money. I do. I have just enough money for another ox. And it would just speed up so much, because it would speed up the movement of timber. Yeah, I might do that. Let's go ahead and... always forget where the hitching post is. There it is. Get the hitching post. Let's put you down over here as well, I'm thinking. Sure. And a camp was sighted. Might just be this one. I hope that doesn't mean they're like on the move or anything. We've got plenty of timber now, so let's go ahead and get those houses set. We can grow our population and keep more buildings active. Sure, let's do that kind of a thing. A little bit of chaos is nice. There we go, these families are growing as well. 2 unassigned families. Let's get one at the storehouse, actually. Let's start moving goods into these centralized locations. Good stuff. Winter is almost here. We have 5 months worth of fuel. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll make it. We'll be fine. Yeah, I gotta get that church. Gotta get the leather going. So once we get some more families in, we'll focus on maybe the leather first. Because, oh, actually, we have enough resources for the church now. Cool. Let's move the woodcutter's lodge then. Let's go ahead and remove the worker first, and then hopefully let's get another worker at the storehouse, and they'll just kind of haul all the firewood over, and then we'll move the woodcutter's lodge. Probably move it out to where? I mean, I might just pop it down over here and keep clearing the trees out over here, just so we can expand into this area, and we're just making room for the church up over here, basically. Yeah, these guys are hauling away. Good stuff. And they're actually manning the firewood stall now as well. You're almost done. You're done enough, I would say. Let's go ahead and relocate you down to here. Right at the edge of the woods. So again, they're still going to have to build it back up again. It's not an instantaneous teleportation. But, you know, at least we can shift things down like that. Stuff. These guys are working away at their vegetable gardens. Again, it takes time to tend to, but the returns will be immense when the time comes. When the time comes. And I love the little details as well. I was talking about this earlier, like, just the little variations. Like, yeah, just a storage shed in your backyard. Why wouldn't it? And then this guy's just like, shed? I don't have the time for that. I got a job. I got 2 jobs. I don't know. It's just so nice. And like, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Church time? Church time, I think. Nice big church. Pop you down.
Is it me? Where's that hinge a bit stiff?
Here. Okay, we gotta wait for this to clear out. Once that log gets removed, we'll be able to put the church exactly where I want it to be put. Just gotta wait for an ox to free up and come pick that up, basically. They're too busy right now helping build these buildings, which I think is the priority. But that's just it. So that's why I'm trying to get another ox in as well. Now, it will take all my regional wealth away, and that's why I'm a little hesitant, if I'm completely honest. Because regional wealth is used for imports as well, and I'm sure there's stuff that I'll want to import as soon as I get a trading post down. Which, by the way, I think we'll put somewhere... Oh, yeah, this would be a nice spot for the trading post, wouldn't it? Yeah, right next to the market. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Because the families that work at the trading post are also able to have stalls. Like if their imported goods can be sold like that, they can also establish market stalls. So that's good. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. All right. We'll wait for some more folks to show up. We'll wait for this to get cleared out. We'll establish our church. We're not going to be establishing our manor anytime too soon. That'll also take quite a few resources, like you saw. A bit more stone. Our settlement level needs to be a little bit higher as well. Small village. So a couple of upgraded briggage plots and we'll be able to do that. Yeah. On the right track here. Approval is slowly shifting upwards and maybe wiggling a little bit, but it is on its way up, so that's good. And I think we're nicely positioned for this winter as well. 4 months worth of... Oh, you know what, actually? Now, herein lies the problem. I've expanded my population and not kept up with the gathering of the firewood. And that might prove to be a little expensive. As I say that, another family starts moving in. Okay, we're all right. We're all right. We're okay. We're okay. We're okay. We got 3 months of fuel. 8 months of food. Maybe not a bad idea to do a bit of hunting. Just to get a little bit more food going. Are these guys shifted? Nah, my eyes deceive me. They felt like they moved a little bit further away. But we're okay, we're good. Yep. Gotta get this lodge up. Gotta get this lodge up. Gotta get more firewood. This is making me a little nervous. This is making me a little nervous. It's October. December is when winter starts proper, and that's when firewood consumption is doubled. So, yeah, we might be in a bit of trouble. But hey, we won't know until next time. Folks, with that crack of lightning and that thunder, we're going to call it a session over here. I like to try and keep these to about an hour tops, unless we're in the middle of something that, you know, will extend some of these episodes a little bit longer. But I hope you had a good time with today's episode. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on how we're kind of applying these limitations to ourselves to try and create more organic spaces. Overall, right now, I mean, we've definitely got some interesting shapes going on. I'm curious to see how this grows in this kind of weird space we've built for ourselves, where we're butt up right against the edge of where we can actually expand into. So how will our church look? How will our housing look as we spread? Do we get closer and closer to the manor? Do we kind of extend down this way or have another area of housing over here? I'm not sure. And I kind of like that uncertainty. I kind of like growing organically, like I've said, I don't know, 7 times now. I apologize for repeating myself so much, but I'm trying to really kind of get in the zone with that and having a blast with it. Again, if you are too, let me know, folks, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, if you're not an existing subscriber, you might want to consider subscribing too, because like I said, I'm going to be covering Manor Lords for a very long time on this channel. We're going to have playthroughs, we're going to have guides, we're going to have, updates and stuff like that as updates happen over the course of development, and all that good stuff too. But for the time being, as I said, we're going to call it a session. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.